Now, we've got another group of cavaliers, though, in this country who probably deserve a little bit of jail time. The hunt is on for almost 200 people who have simply vanished into thin air from quarantine in Queensland after lying to police at interstate and international borders. Now, compliance checks on those who needed to self-isolate have also discovered that another 125 had left Queensland entirely. 17 were at another address. Again, you only had one job. Now, overseas arrivals have provided us with regular infections.
Those cases that were reported were back in early April, so we don't have concerns about any spread of virus. But we are still on the hunt for those people, and if they are found, they will be caught, they will be fined, and they can face penalties of up to 6 months in jail.
Now, all this scares the willies out of nervous Nelly Premiers and Chief Ministers, and yes, it happened previously. But why did they do it? Why would they risk the lives of other people? Now, of course, another lockdown will see probably another million people out of work. The country's economy and individual livelihoods cannot cope with what's going on at the moment. From tomorrow in Victoria, when wearing masks is compulsory, we will literally see how embedded this civil disobedience is in the mindset of the population. And that's where the government needs to use their own resources to help to police these strict rules. You can't just stand up there, as Dan Andrews did today, and blame, oh, you slackers, you're allowing the virus to spread. Do something, Dan, or move aside and let someone who can take over. We'll be watching that space on tomorrow night's program. Now, one of this country's most acclaimed novelists, Peter Carey, has joined a large group of moral racial crusaders in this country, slamming our treatment of Indigenous people. In an art podcast, the conversation led to Australia's colonial history, and Carey said Australia has racial guilt because of our knowledge of genocide.
Australia, as we all know, is built on a genocide, and none of us can be, all white Australians know that every day you actually are the beneficiary of a genocide. And so that sort of knowledge that it's not really your land and all of that sort of things goes very, very deep in us. And I think it's a sort of a racially sort of guilty country.
Speak for yourself. Now, this has become Carey's pet project, shaming Australians for not somehow acting on our guilt. His latest novel, Long Way From Home, focuses on Indigenous dispossession, and in 2017 he made the claim that Australians have become the beneficiaries of genocide. Hang on a second. It was not the current population which committed these crimes, but the current population has agreed with our parliamentary apology. We've also said sorry. There have been numerous attempts at reconciliation. We have returned land to Aboriginal communities. We join in with various acknowledgements to country at functions just about everywhere. And then there's the $30 billion that contributes to the lives of all Indigenous people every single year. Like, what more can we do here? Is there anything left? What is he asking us to do? Meanwhile, Indigenous leader Warren Mundine has written this week that Black Australia has a bright future. He says in the past 40 years there have been improvements and opportunities for that bright and great future. He cites the 1,500 Indigenous businesses that have been created. Mining giants have awarded over $2 billion in Indigenous businesses. There was Mabo, land rights in every state and territory, and Indigenous leaders have a say in mining, agriculture, and more recently, a heap of tourism projects throughout the country. Is it not time for the Peter Careys of the world to stop guilting the current generation who understand the past and the mistakes? We read about it at school, we keep reading about it, but we want to team up with Black Australia, if those circumstances arise, and get on with building a better nation and get on with each other. If Warren Mundine can do that, why can't Peter Carey?